Name of the meeting, date, time.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is the leadership committee meeting. It's Thursday, October 15th, 2027, 7:30 p.m. Currently, doing this meeting at Masters with the WebEx as the option for folks that could not attend. I think we have one person on WebEx. Is that correct, Jeremy?
Yeah, Ken Gelnick.
So Ken is on. We do have a forum, so we can get this meeting started. This is my first time leading this meeting, so I'm probably going to suck at it. So, get ready. All right, so we have some technical difficulties. Jeremy, we were planning on setting up some time here for the past 3 days, set it on our projector so we can view the agenda, not the agenda, the minutes, and the agenda digitally, but we were not able to. So the first thing on the agenda is to review the March meeting minutes.
I forgot those as well.
So that was the last, was it March? Was the last?
Last leadership committee meeting, it's on the website. I didn't print it off, but if you want to get here, I forgot.
Is it long?
No, it should be on the website. Yeah, I think you should read them out loud, but obviously that's too time.
Maybe we can either read them or. It's 3 pages long. So.
Because it was in lieu of the full board. We didn't have a full board meeting in March. The leadership committee meeting, that's why.
So is everybody okay if we summarize it and then we go with that? Any issues with that? I'll just summarize it real quick. So, the meeting was called to order at 7:12 and it was on March 26th. The first thing on the agenda was the Transportation Committee meeting. They recommended approval for a couple of street co-name applications. It passed with one abstention. The second thing was to recommend approval for new street name. That was the only thing. There was 2 options on the Transportation Committee. Actually, on the second page, one more thing. They did have renewal street activity applications 3 were submitted in March. Actually, yeah, 3 were submitted. And then we went to bylaws, the creation of the ethics committee, which was created, that was taken to the full board, which was voted in April, the general meeting. The third thing was economic development for renewal liquor licenses. 1, 2, 3, 4 applications. And let's see if anything came out of them. I don't see any issues with that. The fourth thing was the draft April Community Board 11 meeting events calendar. The Bronx Community Board 11 day at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees game indefinitely postponed. Of course, on the leadership committee is tentatively scheduled to meet in April. We did end up meeting via WebEx in April. There was a public comment section. Requested the district manager draft a written correspondence to the New York State Office of Addiction Services and supports objections to the licensing of a drug treatment facility at 1500 Williamson Road. Then the 6th item, we went into old business. I'm almost done, everybody, don't worry. Motion to endorse the city parks department's proposal, design reconstruction of the Bronx headquarters routes at 1 Bronx River Parkway, United States Pass. Community Board 11 Health Fair was canceled. No business, nothing. Adjournment at 8:19 p.m. So I think that pretty much covers that meeting. So any issues with the minutes? Do we need to vote on it or anything for the minutes?
It's up to you.
I don't think we do, since no one has any issues, I see one person nodding, so.
I got you in the form.
So. Motion that we reviewed, March minutes, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any objections? Abstentions? Very impressive. All in favor? Okay, so then any objections or abstentions? Looks like none. So thank you. All right. Second item on the agenda is the conduct
Oops, go ahead, sorry.
at public meetings. I think everyone got the email that I sent Jerry on October 11th. So this was copied from Community Board 10, but tweaked a little bit. So Community Board 10 puts this on their agenda at every meeting. So we have standards that we have to abide by, basically as community board members. We're not the same as the public, but the higher standards. I thought, how about we hold the public to a certain standard? Not to our standard, but a certain standard. So this is what we have drafted, that leaders should be held in professional and hostile free environment. Everyone should be comfortable to meet. Second thing is the following guidelines are applicable to members of the public. Like I said, the things that are applicable to us are in the community board handbook and the bylaw. So this is applicable to the members of the public. Any personal attacks against board members, staff members, a member of the public, and or elected official or their representative will result in the individual being asked to leave the meeting or could result in the meeting's closure. So if we're here, and someone from the public decides to have an outburst and go crazy on us, we can end the meeting at that time, but we shouldn't tolerate it. And I'll read the second paragraph that will give more info on it. Any outburst from the public speaking portion of the meeting has been closed out. As a result, the individuals who asked to leave the meeting, the outburst or attacks continues. This will be considered disturbing the peace and authorities shall be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, that this is because now we're doing remote meetings, the person will be muted for the remainder of the meeting. All speakers must address and hear the community members with their concerns. All solicitations or electioneering is prohibited. Anyone want to add anything or take a public? Yeah. Go ahead.
All very well and good. All very well and good, but unfortunately, there is a number of people who contact us after the fact, after the meetings on the street, and that's not doing anything for it.
For anything that happens outside of the board, it's out of our control. I think we can look into something else, that we can do.
Why can't that person also then be banned from meetings?
So, well, yeah,
That was my question.
let me turn this off and make anything. I don't know why, let me see. Here. Everybody should be able to hear each other. I can try that, sorry.
Well, again, I'll reiterate my question. Why can't, if that is an ongoing thing, why can't that person or person be then banned from attending any meeting?
We can't, and that's the question that I asked. I asked the board president's office, can we ban a person? He said, no. Okay. Well, so the second thing I asked, the borough president's office was, we need support. If we have, a member of the public that's, in a hostile environment for us, that volunteered to do our work, we need their attorneys please draft a letter, a warning letter to this member of the public. That's the most we can do.
What
But
was their response?
their response was that, I'm waiting for them to get back to me, but initially they cannot help. That we are our own agency as Community Board 11, we're considered our own agency, we can handle it ourselves. This is where this.
Wait, but that's contradicting itself. If we cannot have an abusive member of the public, they tell us we can ban, but yet we operate under our own rules. They are contradicting themselves.
So, you're right, can I say something?
Yeah.
So, if police reports are filed, if it gets to that level, that's a different story. I mean, it has to progress to that step. Yeah, I mean, you can do it now. I highly recommend anybody that has any of these issues, maybe member of the public, to reach out to the police. They'd be more than happy to take a report. I mean, I was on the phone with them earlier today. So that's one avenue. We have, so Joe Thompson was on the board, Al was on the board, Joe was maybe on the board, Hazel was definitely on the board. I remember being at board meeting, a couple of them, where the police have escorted people out for being disruptive. So we can't ask people to leave, and I don't think they saw my announcement the other day, if you're not wearing a mask, you will be asked to leave. I mean, they check you at the door, right? And if you don't leave, you call the cops. So we can take that recourse. That's my 2 cents.
You can file a police report for harassment.
Sure.
That's something that should be done in case that happens. Where you get an order of protection if need be, and that person has to stay X amount of feet away from you. That will keep coming to the board if you're there.
I guess outside the board, you're on your own to handle it the way you see fit. I'll give you an example. I have a member of the public sent me an email to my government email address. Yes, I'm a federal employee, but when I'm here, I'm not a federal employee. I'm just the obeying private citizen. And to get an email, an email address bothered me a lot. I asked that person to stop. They did not. They did it again. And if they do it again, I'm gonna end up getting the FBI involved. The FBI is gonna have to get involved, and it's not gonna be good for them. It might not be good for me. But then, but I'm willing to take that risk. So, like Jeremy said, the police might have to get involved.
How did that person get your email address? So cool.
But it says I'm a federal employee, it makes sense that tony.signorelli@dhs.gov would work.
Yeah, you can go with it if you're smart enough. But the police told me today, when it comes to electronic communication, if you ask somebody to stop and they don't abide, then you should speak to them because you may be able to file a harassment report.
Good point. Workplace. And I told them to stop calling. It's not, I don't know them. They just call because they're bored. And they don't stop. When we got the FBI involved, and they stopped calling.
The reason I said that, I have a phone.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately, now with emails, a lot of places actually serve, review the emails that you get in and out. So if someone's sending something inappropriate or making allegations against you and your firm or your company sees that, it could cause a problem for you. So you have to sometimes think about, because you have to make sure that you don't lose your life based on somebody's phone.
So, does anyone have anything that we need to add or take away from the document I read, the rules?
Yeah, I have a question. That closing, why can't we, at that point, escort, because the police department escort him or her out of the meeting? Why should the rest of the public suffer for one person?
Here's the, okay, I'll answer your question. So if you get some sort of harassment here and a person won't shut up, we end up calling 911. How long is it before the precinct responds?
No, but in our general meetings, we always have cops present.
Not always.
Not always. Yeah, and this applies to all meetings, including this meeting, committee meetings, all meetings. So sometimes you might call the cops, call 911, priority might be priority number 6, so they'll be here in 9 hours. How do you want to handle it?
Okay.
That's just an option, we don't have to use it, you're right. Like you said, the public will pay the price.
Can I make a suggestion on agenda then? I see the gallery session is number 8, and after that is the issue. We're gonna put that into place, shouldn't we have the issue be first? For the gallery session, just in case we do have to shut it down?
Remember they used to speak first, but they took too long?
Yeah,
And we changed it up when we put the last.
okay. Only because I'm saying if we have to shut it down,
When we put the gallery session there.
that's what I was saying.
And I think we had that option, did we have that option? Or we?
I mean, it's your agenda. I mean, we do have to go over, that's the next agenda item is the full board agenda. Right?
Yeah.
So,
So instead of before all business, have the gallery session.
Something to think about this, because if we put that into play, we have to shut it down before the elected officials speak, there's something we, now we can't speak to them.
I'm more concerned about the if we have to vote on it than the public officials. Honestly, I feel like the public officials, they can email us if anything, you know? They're important, but I feel like us voting on something is more important. So, and that might trigger the member of the public to cause an outburst. So I don't know, if everybody's good with it, it's up for discussion. I know we moved the public officials back because they did take a large
We
part of our
could give them
meeting.
a time limit.
Does Kevin hear us better?
yes, he does, but I want to share.
Let's see what happens. Do have a problem, and maybe we'll use Vanessa's, idea, move the, study session to, yeah.
So, anyone else? I mean, everybody brought up good points from outside of work, open the meeting. If you want to add more rules, so that way that member of the public, if they do cause something or cause an issue, then you have something in writing that we can pull. Right now, it's basically for harassment or being professional and having a hostile free environment.
Well, like I said, the person feels threatened by the person, they can get an order of protection, and then every time that person's at a meeting, the other person can't show up, because they have to be without, within 100 feet or something, that other person. So, that's,
But it has to be like, and I don't think you might be able to get a temporary restraining order, which is 15 days, but to get it extended, I think you're gonna need, go to court and the judge is gonna have to say.
Yeah, it kind of has to be, yeah. You know, I had a member of the public come to my, place of work, and I had to escort her outside because first, you know, I didn't know what she was there. You know, I thought maybe she had an issue, because people from the public all the time coming in with housing issues. Then, you know, she like, confronted me, and I had to escort her outside because I didn't want her to be seen inside, and, you know, we got into it a little bit. I did not prefer anybody around myself, but she did threaten like to talk to my boss. And even though he doesn't have anything to do with my being involved in anything outside of her, you know, it's still, that's my boss. And, you know, I had kind of already told him about her, so. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't intimidating to me, but if I did it with somebody else, it would have been very intimidating. And I feel that, you know, at that moment,
I didn't know what to do. Like, you know, of course I wasn't gonna get physical with her unless she got physical with me, which I don't think she would have. But it was a very, comfortable situation. First, for her to come to the job. And second, you know, to be put in that position where I wasn't sure how to proceed. So I kind of like just, you know, entered the conversation and went inside and left her talking about, you know, by herself. Because she did come there to pick a fight with me. Because every time she brought something up, I shut her down and then she was just grasping at anything that she could. Until finally I just got fed up and said, you know what, this conversation is over, and I went back inside. But it would have been a problem if she had followed me inside, because then it would have gotten physical, because then it would have just caught her outside. So I feel that we should have some kind of a protection against a situation like that, because you know, you really don't know what to do. You're put in a situation where you don't want to be in trouble. You don't want to get in trouble because this person is out of her freaking mind. And, but then again, you know, I'm not the kind of person that goes fighting in the street. That's not who I am, unless I have to defend myself. So I did call Jeremy, and I called Jeremy as soon as I got back inside, and I think I texted him, just to let someone know that this had just happened to me. It kind of shook me up a little bit because I was just so pissed off that this person had the nerve to come to my job. And I see her in the morning now, you know, on my way to work. So I always got that note in my head, you know, she could come behind me. You know, it's like, I don't trust her now because, you know, it's gotten to the point where now I have to look out for myself. So, you know, this is all good and you know, it's all good, but I think that maybe, I don't know what to do. Maybe we need to speak to somebody, but there should be a little more protection for us against people like this when we're out by ourselves or, you know, because we are board members.
That's how I feel, Patricia.
No, it's off.
I'm just saying, I'm grateful that we're doing this because most of the people that have been harassed all the time have been subjected to this. And even yourself, as you have tried to diffuse and you gave a little encouragement to that person, they even came back at you. So it's not fair that you have to be subjected to this type of behavior by one person, two persons. It doesn't make a difference how many. It just means that if we're going to be of service to the public, then they have to respect us and not come at us like this because it's not fair. I myself, I was in a situation where I was harassed, I was assaulted, and everything that I was trying to do to try to keep myself protected, no one was there to tell me the steps that I needed to take in order for me to be able to be protected. I mean, the 49 precinct I was a part of, I'm part of the community board, I'm part of so many different things that I put myself up with. And nothing was done. Now, this person is still in my building, still doing their thing, but it's okay because I know I'm not gonna put up with anything. But I walk in my path and I do what I need to do, so now they know they can't do too much to me as it is right now. But who's to say? Okay, so I'm grateful that this is taking place because it's really, we really need to be better. And regardless of whether or not the, anybody else wants to try to do anything for us, we definitely have to put in place. And we have enough for them not to be able to attack people again, verbally, emotionally, or anything. That's what they think we get is so what it is. The only thing we don't about yes, you can. I'm not going to move
Go, Joe.
It's a very difficult situation. This is one of the hazards. Unfortunately. Laws. Whether you belong to the community board, or whether you're just on your steps. same laws apply. Now, as a community board, we put in a talk to our president, we can have certain people banned. As far as your outside involvement, people coming up to you, people didn't like what you said, or you didn't pass a ruling for that. It's very, very, very little you can do. You have, of course, orders of protection, but you're gonna have to show a lot to get an order of protection. Not something that you can get when somebody comes up to you and calls your head. You're gonna have to have calls, individual calls. So this is one of the problems with service. You just have to take as on your service. If somebody touches you, yeah, you've got a case. If somebody harasses you, yeah, you have a case. But to put this into a court situation, the only thing that I can even suggest on something like this is certain people, and it's not because they disagree with us, not because persons, like certain people, we should have the ability to ban certain people from our meeting. Outside of the meeting, subjected to the same standards of proof as anyone else. That's a fact.
So, Ken Galnick would like to say something? If we don't mind, we'll try. So, just bear with me, Ken. Stop sharing that. Yeah, can you speak? You're muted. Oh, or your mic's not working. You speak? And it's not, your microphone's not working. I don't know why it's not working. No, you're muted now. He unmuted himself, but it's still out.
His mic is.
Yeah, I mean, I could try calling him. So Ken, you want me to try calling your phone? Or call my cell? Call my cell phone, Ken.
Can you hear you?
I think so, yeah. I mean, my mic is working. Ken, can you call me? Call me? No, mic's not working now, Ken. No. I can't hear you at all. I have the volume all the way up to 100%. I mean, I could test. I think you should just call my cell phone.
Like you said, I think some of the harassment outside of the community board meetings, we might just have to take it with the job that we do. So, and I'll give you a couple of examples. I have a personal Facebook page. I can post anything I want, right? All anything, right? So, I did post something, regarding the debate. And I was attacked, and the person said, this is why they put you on Community Board 11 Executive Board, because you support Trump that harms your own community. So it's just an example of a person harassing me for being on the executive board, right? So should we? So I did get an email I set up a special email for my Community Board 11 business. I got an email today. It's the person said, of inappropriate things. They said, Tom and Al know that my complaints will be voted down. That guy Yahe will make sure of that. And Andrea Siegel will state for me to get over it. The ethics committee is, I don't know how to read this word. It's definitely misspelled. I don't think it's an English word. Tom Bikini and Al are problem. I think they're trying to say the white community board is a swamp. So this is all inappropriate stuff. It's being sent to me via email. And I'm asking for, I guess, for your guidance and your input. How do we have, can we put something on here that'll address that? I don't know if we can.
And it's, there were 10 individuals doing this, you know, that's one thing, but it's the same person that's attacking us. It's one person doing this. As far as I'm concerned, it's just one person. But I've heard that she's gone around the table.
So,
So it is a problem, because if it was just one of us that she was harassing, all right, I'll have to deal with it. But it's not just me, it's a lot more people that are on the community board. And only because
so, Ken, on the phone? Ken, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I have two little suggestions about this. Number one, on the attacks, it's the verbal attack.
He's saying solicitation, we should take it out. Because some of the things that we do from when we talk about the budget, considered solicitation.
Might be theoretically looking at that. That's, I don't know how to run it. So we can make clear that we're talking about verbal personal attacks, because any physical attacks are probably going to be being arrested.
So what if we put inappropriate solicitation?
Who's going to decide what's appropriate?
We could.
What standards are you going to use?
I mean, if it's for government business, that's appropriate. If it's not for government business, it's inappropriate. So should we?
The residents who come and
Yeah, but I feel like they're doing it, from us on a government level. You know what I mean?
But the problem is, putting it in like that, because I don't think we can.
Any other input? Do we have another word that we can use? I mean, we can take it out. It's not a big deal.
And what about the person, what about, verbal attack? No,
We haven't had the issue of solicitation. We can easily take it out. So we'll take it out. When we said any personal attack, whether verbal or physical, is that what you want me to say?
that's like, I think verbal, that's physical attacks, we should be, they might be subject to, subject them to arrest or be thrown out or something like that. I don't have anything in front of me right now.
I said any personal attacks against a community board member, staff member, member of the public, and or elected official or their representative. We can say any personal attacks.
I don't think we should limit it to just verbal.
personal, yeah, I think that encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It covers us for any kind of personal attacks, doesn't limit us to just verbal. Leave it as is.
Okay, so we'll leave that one in. So regarding online stuff, so if I get an email, I felt like the email that I got today was inappropriate. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
So, what was that?
Well, do we really want to discuss some of this stuff in public? I mean, we really should think about how much we want to air.
And don't do it.
Well, if we add harassment via, digital format, whether email, include an email, will result in the member being blocked. Can I block the member? Because, well, the member of the public that sent me this inappropriate email, can I block them? But if I block them, then they're blocked from my email forever. They can't contact me.
Don't you have to go to the borough president's office?
Well, I'm just blocking them from, I'm not sure. Honestly, I thought the borough president's office can help us out with a lot, right? And I was really disappointed that it came down to, you're on your own. You're on your own, and that's it.
Don't you know, you block that person.
So should we put like a limit on how many times they're allowed to do it, and then we'll say they're not, that they'll be blocked from the personal email, and have to contact the community board directly for issues?
First of all,
We're gonna block them from the community board emails, because they do have legitimate issues. We should be able to help them.
but a personal emails, there's no reason to have any individual. That individual, wherever they are, could reach the community board or whatever they need. So my man just blocked them out.
Problem is, that's the email address that's the intake for the ethics committee. If you have a complaint, you send that to that email address. So
Let me send it to Jeremy.
Well, we could change that email to the BX11@cb.usec, the general email. We can make that versus your individual email, we can make it the general office email.
yeah, but then that creates more work for you to forward and filter out.
But that's not, I wouldn't worry about that.
Like, copies on it?
That's part of the job.
Well, if it goes to the X11, and you blind copy his email to get a copy of it. Yeah. So that people only think it's going to the community board office, but they'll be getting a copy track of it.
Well, I mean, you can put that in the instructions, it will be given to the ethics committee. I mean, but that's really,
Yeah, because you know what, I'm really upset at this email for the person to say that I'm gonna make sure that the vote gets, that the person gets voted down. I take my job seriously as the ethics chair, and we went against one of our own, Dominic. I've known Dominic since day one. He's worked hard on this board. He was on numerous committees. You know, I felt bad, but you know what? It was the right thing to do, and I did it. And at the end of the day, it caused him to resign. We lost one of our own. We went against one of our own.
Hold
I
on.
stood up against him,
not everybody maybe knows what you're talking
but
about.
it's public anyway, since,
But you might, if you want to
so,
clarify for people who just showed up.
so at the end of the day, I went against one of our team members, one of our group. And then I get accused of doing something like that. So it doesn't make sense what this person is saying. So I don't know what we can add
I
to the
think
email
maybe you
list.
should just block this person and then just let this person just email the board. And then if there's anything that you need to see, it could be forwarded to you.
But should we add anything on paper?
I would just add this point,
What-
any outbursts from the public during the meeting will be considered out of order, will be ruled out of order. In other words, I'm going down to, any outburst from the public during the meeting,
During the meeting, okay.
right? And then just cross out the rest up until will be ruled out of order.
Yeah, it's the thing out first, outside the gallery session.
Yeah, I meant that and amended, good point. That was a good suggestion. So Al said, we're gonna just say any outbursts from the public during the meeting
Will be ruled out of order.
will result, okay, will be ruled out. I'm gonna leave it as will result in the individual being asked to leave the meeting. Is that okay, or do you want to add a, okay. Anything else for anybody? I know we spent a lot of topic on this document, but also I suggest, I know it's lengthy, but every time we have a committee meeting, like the leadership committee, This, I feel like, should be attached to it somewhere. So it applies to committee meetings, board meetings. I know we usually don't have a lot of stuff on the agenda. This is a committee agenda. As you can see, it's very short. I have not seen a lengthy committee agenda. So I think adding this portion to all the agendas, I think is not a bad idea. What do you think, Jeremy? We already have this on here, right? We just want to have the rules at the bottom of every agenda. It's
I can fit it, but
fine print, yeah.
yeah, I mean, before we agree to anything, let me see what I can do. Because that's a lot of text. So that's like probably 4 times as much of what's on for the committees. May not look like it, but that's.
100 copies. Every time you set up an agenda, have somebody just staple it onto the back.
Or it could be a cover letter to any agenda. You can do it that way too, especially on the website when we post it. Page 1 versus page 2.
On the website, it just be standard on the website.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Look at this, right? It's mostly blank. If you take that text and you add it,
Piece, you want the whole thing.
this thing, just make it a permanent.
Even if they're not comparable, it's like 2 or 3 times as much. Yeah, just send me what you can and I'll play with it.
And also,
Yeah.
copy of that, when they get there, they sign it, to speak in the gallery. This way they know.
Or it's probably easier to just make each gallery slip one big page with that at the top. It's killing paper, killing trees, but it's, you want to do it that way,
Yeah. Everybody gets 4 more.
but that, you're assuming that's, for me, like we are now. But still online somehow, I think that's what Yahi's getting at, because a lot of people do go to our website. The question is where on our website it's gonna be prominent enough, and I think if you made that the first page of every agenda.
You could just add it at the
Find a way to get it on there, that's all.
end. Doesn't matter.
On the website, too, when we send out the meeting notices, it can say, please, for the meeting, refer to the code of conduct for the meeting.
I'll play with it.
Well, I just suggest that for the gallery slips, so whatever gallery slip that you have, that can be at the top, the name and everything, they can say, you're in the gallery slip, but then they can rip off the name of that particular meeting, and then keep that information, because it was given to them, so now they know that this is something that they have to abide by.
But I feel like we should, yeah, we should make it apply for the entire meeting. Even the committee meetings, we don't have galleries, for committee meetings. We want to include it for all the meetings. So that's why I think right now, with what we're facing, let's burn some trees to fix the problem that we're facing, honestly. I know it's gonna be a little bit more paper, but we need it. This is,
So if we can't fit it in that low column, which I would bet you money we can't. Again, my suggestion, just make it the cover to every agenda and then have the real agenda be on page 2. So it's in their face and they can't really get around it.
If this is applicable,
Because not everybody's gonna look at that. They're gonna go straight to the agenda.
Ken, we can transition into that next year. Let's make sure everybody sees this for at least a year. It's only really 7 or 8 meetings, right? So everybody sees it. Once everybody gets used to it, let's move it to a digital format.
why don't we do both? Actually, why don't we do both? Put it on the website also.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure.
Well, every agenda goes on the website when I'm able to do it.
But is a general.
A separate document.
Meeting, somewhere on the calendar.
Well, on the agenda page at the very top versus, where you go down, you scroll and you click. At the very top, it should be right there too. That's
Yeah.
where it should be, at the top.
Especially in a full board meeting. There's plenty of rooms on here to verify that.
But you want it up front where it's gonna be in their face, you want them to see that first.
No, I think you'll be fine.
It doesn't matter. Guys, the city is that way. If it's under here, put it under here. Put it under here, put on an addendum on the back, say, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't make a whole production out of it.
All right, so if everybody's good with that, so I got some edits from Ken, some edits from, Al, some good suggestions, and I know everybody's facing, like you said, harassment after meetings or outside of meetings. For right now, it's unfortunate that we have to take that harassment on, and honestly, the borough president's office that, you know what, I don't have to take this. I'm getting hammered and harassed outside of, I'm a volunteer. This is not fair. You need to do something or I'm gonna. Not exactly that way, but he was upset that I threatened him. He was upset that I threatened him to resign. And I said, well, I'm not the only one that's gonna be resigning if we keep getting this harassment. No one's here to get harassed. We're here to do business. So thank you all for doing this type of business and handling the pressure. Yeah, yes.
And this individual.
You can.
They say something, but they're telling you, we have to take care of it ourselves. And if we're in agreement 100%, then we'll take care of it. We're gonna be here longer than they're gonna be in
Yes,
office.
you know what, and I mentioned that, and I said, you know what, we're gonna end up taking the wrong action, and you're gonna have to fix it. I told him that.
So I think we should do that.
So Ken isn't it?
We have 3 lawyers on the board, we'll ask them what we can legally do, and then we'll go with this.
Ken's a lawyer. Ken's on the phone still, if you want to ask now.
So. I think we can move on. I think we can move on. So, third item on the agenda is the draft October full board agenda. I think everybody got it, right? Well, Ken doesn't have a copy, right, Jeremy?
I'll put it up on WebEx. Bear with me.
Am I the only one still staying on the web?
No, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
No, there's still 3 attendees. Just,
Did Diane dial in?
not that I can tell. She said she would call Angelo. If you know who that is.
No. Just either prove it or not.
So let's all take a look at it. Let's spend a couple minutes taking a look at it, see if we can figure it out. I know we mentioned the gallery session, looks like it's number 8. And the elected officials, number 9. We did move them last intentionally, I think. But it just took too long.
Yeah, you're actually elected officials different than their elected officials move extra time.
Right.
I think we went up to 2 and
For the last time, yeah, for the elected official themselves,
used to be unlimited.
used to be unlimited, and then we decided 10 minutes
They represent.
for the rest.
Okay, that's fine.
Do they also wait till the end, or do they go earlier?
We've been making them wait.
Yeah.
We've been making them wait to the end. And so far, I think I maybe got 1 complaint, 10 compliments from board members.
Yeah, and you know what, if we have to vote on something, because our meetings have been going, again, last one went to, what, 10 or 11 o'clock at night? So if we have to vote on something, and it's gonna be after 9 o'clock, and we have a third of the people leave, I understand, you know what, 9 PM comes, everybody's tired, everybody's got something to do, I gotta put my kid to sleep. Let's do our business first. And then the other stuff, if we miss it, we'll go over it later.
There really should not be a reason only an extraordinary circumstance that our meetings go beyond 2 hours. We should make it a point that our meetings be limited to 2 hours. It's forgiven to have a meeting last 4 hours. I'm sorry.
Well, let's also remember that this meeting, which hasn't met since March, is usually where we hash out a lot of the stuff to, and when we do that, so this is a mini full board meeting. That's how I always viewed it. And now that we're meeting again, this is what we're doing with the agenda. So we're not, there's no surprises here, ideally.
Whether it's WebEx or in person, and go back to my original statement, there is no reason why a meeting should last beyond 2 hours. We are not voting on confirmations or electing officials or things of that nature.
One of the things we can do, we started and see the work with Mo, is committee reports. Unless you need to read your committee report.
Yeah.
Just, they'll introduce you, you just say, it's in the minutes, please read the committee report. Unless there's something like, a liquor license or closing, a thing like that, would have to be voted on. In other words, there's no reason to speak, just, you'll be introduced. Just say, it's in the minutes, that's it.
And also, I think we should have when we're doing it WebEx, start getting people to sign in before 7 o'clock. Because at 7 o'clock, then you're sitting and waiting for a quorum and it doesn't start till 4:08.
That's true too. We start on time.
Well, the other thing is, some people,
Why then your system doesn't work before this time?
what are you talking about?
When I-
Yeah, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Your computer system kept going down.
I had one meeting where it went down.
No, I got a full meeting.
Yeah, okay, name the other meetings. Yeah, the one last full board meeting, the other full board meeting. Is that true? I don't recall that. Well, that's the other thing too. Well, so Joe, okay, he calls it. The other people tell me, why don't you just mute the board members? The way we have it set up is you can unmute yourselves. I've called specifically board members to say, hey, you're not speaking, please mute yourself. They don't realize the background noise really picks up. When you have 50 people, you started at the beginning, right? You got that all clamor. But I can tell you that, yeah, my internet's not great at home, but I did get a resolution to it. Like right now, this is my internet. It's actually really good. This is how this is working. So thanks to Yahe for having this meeting. That's how I figured this out, because although I could connect to Maestro's Wi-Fi, it's unsecure. And we got to really think about security nowadays, not just physical harassment, whatever. We got to think about online too.
But also, when we have it set up for WebEx, I couldn't see. Except for one time, I didn't have an issue. All the other times, I had an issue. I can't use the microphone. And it's only when you set it up like for a meeting or I go on, like right now, on CB10, and I go on with the microphone.
So Debbie reached out to me earlier today about the invite you should have got for the full board meeting. So there are two ways to do WebEx. I really want to move away from WebEx. The city's really trying, they were going to move to Microsoft Teams. I don't know, because Yahe uses Zoom for his meetings, which I personally know and I'm familiar with, and it's more user-friendly. There's two types of WebEx meetings. We use a little bit more stringent because if I don't, just anybody, particularly the public, can unmute themselves. If we want to take that risk, we can have that ability. But as soon as I mute everybody, just like some of our board members, they can just immediately unmute themselves. And I can kick them out. I can expel them. We can go that route though. And it is easier to use the simpler version that Board 10 uses. But there's a con to it. So for the next meeting, I can cancel that invite, do a new one.
And honestly, I don't know why, the community board has its budget, right? So I feel like spending $20 a month to get Zoom membership, I think is worth it. Because you can put someone, let's say we decide to go into executive session. What I do on my meetings, I use Zoom, my own account that I pay for monthly. I put people in a waiting room. I just slide them in the waiting room and they wait until we're done with executive session. If they decide to hang up, they hang up, and then I move them back. You can do polling. So if we have to vote, you can just send it there and people click on their Zoom, they can vote on there as well. We need to vote on something. There's so many options that I think we should look into. Like Jeremy said, I don't know what city has, what kind of restrictions they have. Pat? Yes, they do.
Zoom meeting.
Where you can be, where you can be recognized, then you have other people just calling out, and you have this at every meeting. All of this, we're all grown individuals. You need, you're gonna say, make yourself, this is a different situation because you're visible. But on Zoom, you still have to have some form of way to recognize one another in order for one person to be speaking at a time. Because you can't hear everybody and everything. Just like you said, when Jeremy actually asks you to turn off your mic, and the people are sitting there and they still don't do that,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with that picture. These things have to be corrected before you can even move anywhere. Because as a grown individual, you have to either recognize or don't. I'm very patient, but in the same token, you can hear everybody just moving on and going on and doing whatever they want to do because that's what they're used to doing. But they have to learn how to pull themselves back a little bit in order for everybody to do that. And then we won't be sitting here for a whole hour or 2, 3, 4, 5 hours.
There's a delay as well. Tony, you wanted to say something?
Easy to say. In person, it's easier to do it than controlling it from a media platform.
So again, we have two different versions of WebEx. So the version that Debbie's used to with Board 10, you can rename the phone numbers. We could use that, but again, that means the public can unmute themselves at any point. And I can mute them again, and then I have to expel them if they don't listen. Well, for a private individual, it's fairly inexpensive. But you should be able to do that.
Easy for you, it's not easy for us.
We'll try it.
And
Raise your hand, you
raise
can
your
run.
hand.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that with WebEx too, but it's
Just do like a chat.
it's not as together, WebEx, obviously.
I would like to recommend that when we're doing our full board meeting, that Jeremy and Chris in the office doing this and not from home. Be in the office here in the Bronx.
I second that.
Yes.
Because
Whatever schedule that you need to set up to be here in the Bronx on that particular day or evening that we are having full board meetings.
So,
There
Make a motion.
make a motion. Make a motion so we can go into discussion.
in the Bronx. Move that when we have our full board meeting, Jeremy and Chris should be in the office on Poland Avenue.
Okay, so seconded by Debbie?
Yes.
But
No, it's not a problem with me.
Okay.
I'll say,
Rounds are
Now
go.
seconded. Okay, so now it's up for discussion, right? I don't think it, Sal, is that your point? So honestly, he's listening to me. That's okay. I like it.
Good, thank you.
So I don't think it's fair. Like the other meeting that lasted until 11 p.m. for someone to be in an office, I don't think it's fair. I think we should solve that before moving on to having someone attend a meeting in the community office.
As the sergeant at arms, if it's easier, like Joe said, to have done from the office, because the internet connection is better, they know the office layout and everything. I will keep people at 2 minutes, I don't care, or Jeremy knows the 2 minutes, cut them off. And blame me.
We went into executive session, remember? That was like an hour. And I think if it happens again, where we do have technical issues, and that took probably 5 or 10 minutes of our time, if it does happen again, then I think it's worth looking at it, but I don't think it's fair to have a city employee until 11:04 PM, 11:04 PM in an office. I just don't think it's fair, you know.
I would have been different if it would have been in Einstein.
Correct, but you know what, at Einstein, I think after 10 PM, and it happened, I think, one time here, it was 10 PM in the same exact room, and everybody's like, let's go, that's it, this is out of hand. But once we're sitting in our home, we're just on our couches, and I understand we're still responsible, we're still in that meeting. I just don't think it's to have Harriet, Chris, or Jeremy in an office until 11 PM. That's what I think. This is.
So,
It's for the 2 hours of the meeting, like they said, the 11 o'clock, when the 2 hours is up, we know that our meeting is gonna end in 2 hours.
No, the other one lasted 4 hours.
If we go,
Our last meeting lasted 4 hours.
we go with the Zoom meeting, we go with the Zoom meeting and it works smoothly, so I would suggest we stay where we are, do the Zoom meeting and get it done. If we come down on our time as far as our reports go, if we ask our questions, make them succinct and to the point, instead of acting like a politician and talking for a half an hour and the question is here, and we're talking about this far before we ask the question. We keep everything succinct, we should be out of there in an hour and a half tops.
But they get the meeting to start on time.
Or we have to start our meetings on time, and that's on us to be there on time.
cannot blame Jeremy, Chris. They open field or whatever you want to call it, and half an hour before. I used to have issues in the beginning, and I eventually would go in there at 6:30, make sure that my issues were resolved. We should not be waiting, like we don't wait beyond 7 o'clock. 7:10 should be a cutoff. We all adults, I know we all busy.
But unfortunately,
Is that Charles? Is that Charles?
We're doing the report, committee reports, nobody said anything anyway. So why do you really have to, if you're gonna just recognize that, you don't have to really recognize people, because they're not gonna speak. All they're gonna say is, oh, nothing happened, nothing happened, and then you cut, and then you don't really have a conversation about what your committee is saying or doing. So that's one thing that could be minimized or.
Yeah, that's what Al mentioned. Joe?
Now, what happened to the motion?
Well, we're in discussion. We're in discussion. I want to say something.
Does he stay in his office, stay at home?
We're gonna vote.
Let's
Well,
own it.
hold on. No. Hold on, Joe. Legally, according to the Borough President's office, Chris or Harriet does not have to work at night. Legally, they do not have to work at night. So we can talk about making Chris go, but to my knowledge, he legally doesn't have to. So the other thing is, yeah, I appreciate, the fact that if you recognize that if the meeting goes to 11 o'clock, I'm there till 12 o'clock. Unequivocally, even though people at home are going to be very upset with me, and it happens. But I do have a fix. We had one hiccup last meeting. And if I don't have to join back into the meeting as late as I did, Chris did pick up. Chris knows how to do this. I did set it up that way as a backup. And even though, it took out 10, maybe 15 minutes at most, because there is 2 recordings, both recordings. Well, Facebook went down, but then WebEx got the whole meeting and they're both on the website. I do appreciate a little mindfulness in terms of me driving home.
The question is,
What's the difference between you being in the office and you being home? That's all I want to know. And if the motion is that you have to be in the office, then why do you have to be in the office?
So the issue last meeting, again, it was only the last meeting, was that my internet went out. So whether Optimum went out or it got unplugged by accident, I'm not sure exactly which one happened. Right now, this is live through this. So if the cell phone tower goes down, that's a different story. But that's how I'm doing this, and that's how I did the meeting last night. And I ran my video all last night, well, the second half, when I said, I can run the video now without it being a concern.
Okay, two things. Well, if the meeting had been in Einstein, it's the same amount of time. We get out at 10 o'clock, it's still not.
Yeah, but you're not there.
Huh?
You're not.
I think at 10, whatever the meeting's over, so it's the same thing for you. That's one point. Second point I had to make was when we sign in. We don't start the meeting till like a last meeting, I don't think we start till 7 to 8. Because how many people call in and then you have to go, who's this, who's this, who's this? That takes
Good point.
too much
Yeah, I
time.
know, I know.
Both points are taken. Before I go to Hazel, I have something quick I wanted to mention. Tell me if it's fair. If you cannot get on a phone or a tablet or a laptop and you have to dial in and Jeremy has to figure who you are out and ask for your last four of your phone number, you know what? If you're in that position, just ask to be excused. Then you might not be able to speak. If it's going to impact one or two members of the community board, so be it. We saved the 45 minutes.
How many people dial in
Less. So,
on average?
last meeting, I mean, it depends. Like Ken's having an issue with his thing right now.
Average, Jeremy, just.
I would say 3 or 4, maybe.
Now it's more than that.
Yeah.
Give-
When I see,
Say between 3 and 5. Between 3 and 5.
Exceeds 5.
Why does it take 45 minutes for you to see whoever?
Well, hold on. Why don't, we should just do roll call, a roll call attendance at every meeting.
5 minutes, because you got a new person on.
Excuse me, Jeremy, the name is not what the issue.
No, you don't know about the phone callers.
And then you have the elected officials that don't use a tablet or a phone. They dial in and he has to figure out who they are. Well, you know what? If you dial in, you're not going to be heard on this meeting. Let's save 45 minutes. Can we at least agree to that?
We do spend time. Why not, you know, and
I know, I'm too patient is what a lot of people tell me. And as Andrew knows, some of the past meetings, people called me rude publicly, but like, at some point, I just gotta off.
You also 45 minutes to try to figure out who Yahweh is. They didn't know who Yahweh was.
Just getting back. If people don't send their minutes in, then you can't really say, refer to the minutes. So I think that we should
But
start
if you
putting.
don't send your minutes in,
I'm embarrassed now.
you want to be around quickly.
So I think that we should put a little pressure on the chairs to get those minutes in as soon as possible, so we can have them at the meeting. And me as secretary, I would be more than happy to do that, because, I feel like that should be one.
Can I give you an example that worked really well last night? At the end of the meeting, one of our chair people said, so Jeremy, who's doing minutes? And I said, it should really come from a board member, because it really should, because I think you need to get in the habit of doing minutes in terms of,
My own.
some people do, some people don't. And ultimately, as we're talking to, for those of you who are during the executive board meeting, we have over 113,000 residents. At this point, we're 128,000. So we got a lot of people to assist, right? Not just board members. So, so somebody agreed last night to do a summary. Fine, summary. I'll do the formatting. I don't care. But something like No, this meeting, who's taking the minutes?
You have three people in the office, you got the recording. Again, just hit the bullet points, Harriet listens to it, put down the bullet points, and that's it.
But isn't it easier for somebody in the meetings? I heard it wasn't in the meeting. You can require to be in the meetings, but then again, I was on the phone with her all day today. Chris took the day off.
Have a meeting and somebody, who wants to take the minutes, who's not taking the minutes properly, this way you hear it, and Harriet's got the time, she can sit there and she can type the minutes and all that.
Yeah, I
But she
think,
hasn't always had the time.
Hazel's good at it, so she'll take the mind taking the minutes, that's easy. I'm not good at it, so.
Meeting should have a secretary, that's why we report to the secretary. That person should be taking the minutes for this and a full board meeting.
Each committee should elect their own secretary. Each committee should designate their own secretary.
People only want to
Or-
meeting.
or do a rotating
Meeting.
meeting.
And if they're there, it's all still
Well-
on the same people.
But no, you can and you should, and a lot of people don't, for whatever reason, they complain to me. This guy never shows up to my committee. Why are you talking to me? Talk to Al.
You know,
No.
when I was on the committee years and years ago, that's how it used to be. At every meeting, at every committee meeting, there was one person that was designated to take the minutes. I don't know what happened, but that's how it was and that's how it should be. It is not.
Staff should be doing everything.
It is not Harriet's responsibility, or it shouldn't be her responsibility, to take my minutes when I'm the one that's at the meeting and I know exactly what happened. Yeah, sometimes I may forget to put on that stupid recording, now that I know how to, and, use it. The first meeting, I didn't even want to touch it because I didn't know what the heck it was. So, but I take my own minutes. And if I forget anything, I can always call my member and say, Pat, what was it that you said? Did you say this? Did you say that? I feel like it's my responsibility as a co-chair to either take my minutes or appoint somebody to take the minutes because it's our meeting. That's how I feel.
Nobody even discussed that. Nobody discussed the motion.
so,
They're all over the place. Let's figure out the motion first, and then do the rest.
Motion is to make Jeremy to be in the office on full board meeting.
Yes. So why don't we have a vote on it?
So,
all in favor, I guess. Yeah.
why can't we table the motion, see if this new Zoom meeting works, and if it doesn't, then.
Well,
I don't think, once he calls for a motion, I don't think you can undo it.
no, you can, who made the motion? Joe.
Will your internet work any better at home than it would from the office?
I mean,
Yes or no?
the office is probably a better connection.
A better connection.
Probably.
And
I'd have to
what
test it.
what do you think the percentage is that you won't have issues at the office as you do at home?
So it's less likely.
That's all.
Let's go back to, I mean, whatever, Joe made the motion. So if he wants to withdraw it, he can, it's up to him.
using Zoom, make it easier for you.
Okay, I cannot help your error. So for example, tonight, I was having a conversation with another board member about joining early. No. At their last committee meeting, no. And they couldn't get on, they're not here. So I can't, that's one of the biggest problems here. As we said, 20 minutes. Oh, is Joe here yet? No, okay, let's go down the roll call list. That's a lot of the people not muting themselves.
Well, then we're gonna have to start the meeting as soon as we have a quorum. As soon as we have a quorum.
Yeah, of course.
we Start the meeting, and then as people come in, you could deal with that silently on the side without interfering with the meeting. Because every time you have to stop to cut into the meeting, because you're waiting for somebody to cut on, everybody has to stop.
But we tend to cater to the complainers with this board,
Oh, okay.
right?
So, okay, I know the motion is still live. So would you like to withdraw the motion or you want to continue it?
Well, continue with this motion, either up or down.
Well, I actually have another suggestion, but I think if you're going to dial in, you should be required to dial in 15 minutes early to get Jeremy to tag your phone number.
He doesn't always start the meeting until.
Full board meeting last time at 6:30. He was on last time at 6:30, so that, I just wanted to mention that.
Full board, yes,
You on 6:30?
Yeah.
yes, I started,
When I chimed in, you weren't on.
last night's a different story.
You just said last night you were on 6:30.
No, full board
The
meeting,
last full board meeting.
full board.
If you dial it in, you should also text message Jeremy to say,
Call me.
this is my number.
That's too much, though. If he has 10 people texting him, it's too much.
How many times do people don't phone numbers change? They don't. Have a list of the people and have Chris start renaming them while you continue to.
The problem is like Ken right now, right? The problem is someone like Ken right now, he couldn't use his volume, so he wasn't expecting it. That's what happens a lot of times, right? Debbie, sometimes it works from you, but most of the time it's not. So,
I'm talking about taking the time to change the numbers of who's there. If you have, yeah, if you have a list of people's numbers that they're gonna be calling from, Chris in the background will turn around and start changing the names.
well, the other thing that board members really probably need to do, that we did in the beginning, like Brandon had problems, he said earlier, I would work with him individually, right? To help him get online. I've done that with some of you here, right? I can always do that. We can always do that. Harriet can do this, Chris can do this.
Monica said is right. If you have a list, let Chris make the calls to the people that are not online yet. You run the meeting. If I have a problem or Fran has a problem, Chris can walk us through it.
Yeah.
You run the meeting. Because what's happening is every time you stop, it's taking time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would suggest we wait till the next meeting. The next meeting doesn't approve, then we do what.
So Joe has a motion, can we just vote on?
Favor?
Read the minute.
So, Joe made a motion that Jeremy, well, Chris, Jeremy or Chris, but Chris is, I guess, is.
Both of them should be in the office.
He said you can't.
What job are you on that when your constituent says you need to be there, you saying, I can't be there because I'm not required to be there? What kind of job do you have?
They're union employees. Want to speak to their union?
Oh, please, that's, please.
Don't tell me, tell the borough president's office.
Yeah,
They're
but
the
you
ones that
told
told
me
me.
to have the next day off, you'll see how fast you're there.
Yes.
Let's continue the motion. So the motion is to require Chris or Jeremy and Jeremy, both of them to be in the office during general board meetings, full board meetings, who was seconded by Brano. So all in favor?
Fine. I'm the only one. I'll support you.
Then you can't vote.
Andrea, Joe Vico, and Franz Aguirre.
Okay. Against?
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone else is against, right?
Motion carries.
No, motion fails.
I do have a recommendation also, sometimes our agendas are overloaded. If we have a public hearing, things like that, perhaps we need to separate or segregate.
Public hearing, or you mean executive session?
Let's say, expenditures, this, that, open hearing.
No.
Or separate.
So I was gonna suggest, okay, so let's say 9:30 comes, right? You've had enough. Can he call for a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yeah, anytime. Anybody can.
So call for, and you know what? If you get some tired people that will agree with
All
you,
muted, so it's a little difficult to do that. when
No,
we're
you cannot
muted.
meet yourself.
yeah, well, he can find a way to call Jeremy, or, so we can do that, or we give a 9 o'clock or 9:30, whatever time we pick, end in time, and the only way to exceed it is if we vote to exceed it.
Let's do it.
And so Mark Joe and I is in the middle of speaking and say, sorry, Mark, you gotta stop, we passed our time limit. That's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
and then we call for a motion.
No, you can't do that.
There you go.
That's what we haven't got the list.
I say we wait until the next meeting. Hopefully we'll be able to shore up some of the things that made the meeting so long. And if that doesn't, then we'll revisit Joe's motion. And we'll also revisit the fact that, we have to do something else. Maybe make a time limit. I think one of the things we have to do, everybody, we have to start the meeting at 7 o'clock. So it's attention upon us to make sure that we're in by 7 o'clock. This way, as soon as we have a quorum, we start the meeting. We cut down on the reports. The report is in your minutes, read your minutes. That'll cut down an awful lot on that. And when we ask questions, let's be succinct about our questions and not go on for a half an hour to explain what our question is when it's only about 2 cents. And Jeremy, on your part, you explain too much. You do. You try to explain everything to everybody, nobody cares. So you're wasting all your time that you're talking to us and telling us what you're doing. Well, if they have a question, they'll ask you.
I'm more than happy to say, like the rest of the committees, here's my report, it's online.
No, that's
what I mean.
No, you do your report, that's fine. But what happens?
It's a lot of time too.
You go into detail sometimes, more than you have to, only because somebody has a question about it, that's fine. But, this way that'll cut down.
Well, can I just say, I submitted my report, speak to me after the meeting?
You could do that. Jeremy, you could say, I submitted my report, there might be 1 or 2 items on the report that you might want to point out those 2 things, then the rest of the things are on my report. If you have any questions,
But I need all of you to back me and say, if somebody says, oh, no, I need to shut these people down.
No, they can call you the next day. Well, you can say that.
But no, you need to tell them that.
Tell them, if they have any issues, they'll make a complaint.
I will say that, but when they try to change the narrative.
There'll be a couple of things on your report that are important. Hit those things and then say, I'm gonna mention these 2 things, everything else is in my report. If you have any questions,
Why can't you do that? Why can't you say my report is submitted, talk to me after the meeting?
Well, not after the meeting.
No, if you have any questions.
Something you want to highlight.
Yeah, you ask the question. But either way, I don't need to go.
I don't need to do the whole.
If you have a question, let me know.
Yeah.
All our reports are gonna be uploaded online, so that.
Why should I be different than the committee?
Correct.
Jeremy says, my report is online. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if anyone has any questions, you can reach me tomorrow morning. Yeah. He's working 5 days a week. We're not. So if anyone has any questions for us, they should ask during that meeting, because they're not going to ask the next morning, because nobody's going to answer them.
Nobody reads the reports online, that's the problem.
Well, yeah, that's their problem, I guess.
So the other thing related to these meeting issues, everybody here, do you have a smartphone? Everybody here, do you have a smartphone?
Yes.
Can you go on the internet? Can you watch a video? No. So anybody that does, like Debbie, I know you have issues. I mean, I will work with you individually. I mean, I know you have a computer at home, Joe. I don't know how, I know that's a problem. But Debbie, we're here now. I should look at your phone, whatever you do. And try to work out this web extension.
Listen, if I can get in this front door, then anybody.
Like I said, one here, and I got it to see just fine. I only have an issue when I do.
I'll set up a test meeting before we leave.
Yeah, good point.
It's gonna be different, I guess. If I wanted this time, it would work in what time.
All right. Let's move on to the next item. So we have a draft calendar, November calendar. Does anyone have any issues with it, or any additions or subtractions? Is everybody committee up here? Who's missing?
I told you.
Okay, so
No, wait. No, we were talking about the full board agenda. Did we really conclude the full board agenda? They got community development.
That's what we're doing.
No, he's talking about the calendar.
yeah, I kind of moved on to the calendar.
What happened to number?
We were on number 3 for the past, I think,
Well,
45
we
minutes.
didn't approve it.
Okay.
I'm not going to itemize my issues. I'm just going to submit my report.
All right, so any issues with the agenda?
Based on the recommendation, why can't the whole committee reports just put the ones that need the vote and nothing else? Or
Okay, I'm okay with that only because we're doing this online. If he has to unmute, mute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 committees, and they all have nothing to say. How about we just make it, if you have something for your committee, talk to Jeremy before so he can specifically unmute you. And if you don't have anything, then he's just gonna skip those committees. Is everybody okay with that?
The agenda will get, I mean, you can tell me right now,
agenda is going to change.
the agenda will change because you didn't have a meeting yet,
Yeah, correct.
ethics and public safety.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna upload the minutes, nothing should change here.
But what some people are saying is don't even list you guys.
No,
Unless
list
you-
us, but skip us. He can skip, I think he can say, well, no one from the leadership or ethics committee, land use, parks, or public safety sent me anything. The minutes are online for the meetings that were held. Because honestly, what do we say? We held a meeting, the minutes are online, and that's it, right? Can we skip that?
I think you should let the chairperson say that.
Okay,
That's their committee, they should make that statement. Say it.
all right,
I don't know, that's just my thought.
okay, then we stay with what we have. All right.
So I'm adding community development because we'll have budget priority requests. We can formulate, hopefully finalize more or less, and we will submit them.
And that has to be voted on, so that's gonna take.
These electeds have not confirmed yet.
Okay.
I know it's not on here for this one, but is the budget? Like a Wednesday?
No, next month is on a Monday.
Or Monday? Okay.
Next month is the 16th.
Motion to approve the agenda for the full board meeting for October's,
Make a motion, we approve the agenda for October.
second. The abstentions are against? No? Okay. So we got that out of the way. Now we can move on to the calendar. Any issues with the calendar?
So,
This is item number 4. We're going over the meetings and events calendar.
so I got agenda items from Hazel, community development. We have agenda items. Economic development, I do have 3 things we should talk about. Sanitation, you have agenda items. Health. If you don't schedule it. I'm not gonna schedule it. There's no reason to schedule it just to cancel it. Unless you know you have agenda items. And then obviously, we're not meeting at Einstein. Because everyone that reached out to about meeting at Einstein for this meeting, unequivocally no. No outside groups. So it's gonna be WebEx or Zoom, whatever I can arrange. So,
Is this the biggest room that they have here?
No, that room is, the room
So why
down.
don't we have here and just have one big round table?
yeah, but people will complain that they can't hear us.
Yeah.
Let them come to the meeting.
Oh, you have to record it. And so I have to use the small recorder that's in speaker.
It's just a suggestion.
With the uptick in new cases, I think we're probably just gonna continue doing this digital. We did do this meeting as a test. I suggested it I really wanted us to meet in person to try to test this out at a smaller setting. So, no, I think this is great. I missed a lot of people. I haven't seen a lot of people, so this is great. We tested it out. You know, are we gonna do the same thing next month? Do you want to meet again in person for the leadership? So Tony hasn't seen anyone in months, so. So, okay, so next month we'll meet again. We'll try a bigger room to test it out to see if there's a bigger echo or the microphone system is still.
This is a big room if we have a whole blood meeting. This room is fine.
Yeah, we'll test it out. Yeah, okay. So next month, we'll meet again in person.
Before first.
I think number 4, that's it. Any? All right.
Timing.
Oh,
This is the,
I don't know if I want to actually have the meeting at the board.
no, that's a holdover from,
Okay,
I had, this is, some of this is current, some of this is holdover for March or.
So basically, I think we're approving the dates, basically what we're approving.
Yeah, so the times and the locations are up for grabs.
okay.
okay.
So like,
We vote to approve the calendar barring any last minute changes.
All in favor?
what time for this committee are we meeting?
Same time as this?
7?
Yeah.
That's 7:30.
Everybody okay with 7? I think so.
Where is it? What day?
Well,
Well,
We'll have the executive, committee right before, 6:30.
Okay, that sounds good. So we don't have any abstentions or anyone against the calendar, right? Okay.
that's gonna be here?
Yes. All right.
Just to have some water. Or maybe coffee.
No, they're not allowed. You gotta bring your own.
Yeah,
I think a joke.
yeah,
so Tony, you want to see people and you want us to feed you?
I see.
volunteer.
So I think we should probably not have any drinks because I think then they're restricted. There's further restrictions on drinks maybe.
You gotta bring your own.
You gotta bring your own, Tony.
You're gonna have to bring your own water.
In terms of recording, this is not working, so I'm just gonna do an audio.
Do an audio recording as a backup maybe. All right, old business? Any old business? I do have one, then we'll go to new business, and I do have a quick item. Bob Press mentioned something at my public safety committee meeting. He did say, how come the liquor licenses approvals are not being done at the public safety committee meeting? Why are they done on the economic development? Or what committee does it?
Economic development.
The economic development. Why isn't it public safety? I don't have an answer to that. Does anyone have an answer to that?
We've always, that's how we've always done
I
it.
think because it has to do with the economics of the stores, so under the economic,
But since it involves the precinct, he's saying, you know,
say, what would, liquor license have to be good safety?
because the precinct is involved, and how many times did where authorities called for that bar or whatever? I don't know. I'm okay with it being under economic development, because if it was public safety, then I'd probably have to put the committee.
Maybe we shouldn't rely so heavily on the police. I mean, there are other agencies involved with running a business, a liquor license establishment. I mean, we don't just, so it's the Economic Development Committee, shouldn't we be concerned about businesses, not just liquor license establishments?
And it's overall.
Here's health, safety, it's anything that has to do with a licensed premise. Each and everything, whether it's safety.
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah, we're leaving. I just needed to know why, because I don't have the history, you know? Any other new business? Yes.
Is it possible for us to get an update listing of the members of this board?
Yeah, you were emailed it. I did send it to you.
And it works.
I sent you your email.
I think,
Last week, right?
yeah. I think what we need now is a list of the people that have not been attending meetings. We need another list. I think last year you sent a summary of how many meetings they
Members
missed.
of the board?
Well-
Have you been given committee assignments yet?
No, but one thing that we have to do for the minutes, Angel, is we have to put the attendance at the end because our thing. So I'm having, that's what one of the things I was on the phone with Carrie all day today and the intern. Updating our attendance sheets. So we do have members of the public here. We should allow for public input.
Correct, yeah, and that's what we meant. And any other new business? Yes, Tony.
Wait, don't.
All right, anything from, members of the public? Thank you.
Try.
All right, motion.
So meeting's ending at 8:38 PM. Yeah, 8:38 PM.